I don't, I sent that email and you're the only person that said you didn't know how to do it and so.
Okay.
So I don't know who does it, I don't know how we do it, I don't.
We may need to figure that out better.
Sharita said that she would put it on the website.
Okay.
And so then I sent it to her,
Right.
but I don't know, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
If it's on the website, yeah, then it should be able, then it should be listed as a QR code.
Oh, okay.
No.
Did you try? Oh.
Yeah, I tried it. What? It may be somewhere else on there.
Could you email her and tell her where to put it for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Oh, sure.
Did
Go.
you want opening music?
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
go for it. In gathering, in the fall, in the church, in the quiet, in the noise, in thought, in the spirit, in anticipation, in calm.
In the beginning, in the end, in transition, in gratitude, in hope, in love, in faith, in unison, in gathering.
Welcome back to another church year. It is so great to see you all in our building again. I'm Pam Fodor, Director of Programs here at the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale, and I am honored to be officiating the service today along with Susan Hubble, our worship associate, and Jonathan Hand on piano. If you're new or newish to our church, we extend a special hello to you and invite you to sign our visitors book in the back in the living room. And we want you to know that each of you is welcome in this space of acceptance, commitment, covenant, and connection. Let us begin by lighting our chalice.
We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We unite in the sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together we honor the spirit of water, its many forms and its life-giving essence. Please rise and join us in body or in spirit in our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. No.
For our responsive reading today, your line is, "We join together in spirit and life." We bring our waters which have touched the west, the north, the south, and the east, which come from the sky and from the earth. We join together in spirit and life. We bring water that belongs to lakes and streams, reservoirs of fresh waters that quench our thirst. We join together in spirit and life. We bring water that is a part of the great oceans and the seas that circle the globe, teeming with life, the source of all life. We join together in spirit and life. We bring water to this place of meeting and sharing. We join together in spirit and life. In this water, there is new water, formed in the atmosphere daily. We join together in spirit and life. And there is old water, water as old as the earth, water from which life has evolved over the eons. We join together in spirit and life. This is the stream of life from which all life flows. All people are connected by the stream, for it runs through our veins and courses through the stems and leaves of plants. We join together in spirit and life. It is the symbol of the cleansing power of forgiveness and the faithful promise of healing love. We join together in spirit and life. It is the symbol and the reality of the oneness that unites humankind and all kind. We join together in spirit and life.
So I had this great idea that it would be fun to make the sound of water with our hands. And then I'm driving here and it's pouring down rain. And then I thought, well, we could just be quiet and open the windows. But I thought you could humor me and we would do it anyway. So this is the story of all water, and I hope that you'll help me tell it. Most of our planet is covered by oceans. What does an ocean sound like? That's an ocean that's drying up. Now, you can't hear it, but all of the time, every day, the sun shines on the ocean and water evaporates. It rises into the air to become clouds. We listen very carefully. What sound do you think we would hear as the earth breathes up water? Eventually, the clouds fill up and the water comes down again as rain. Imagine standing on a mountain and it begins very gently to drizzle. And then to rain. And then to pour in a full-scale mountain thunderstorm. It actually did all that this morning. Let's do that again. First, it very gently drizzles. The water that falls in the mountains runs into little downhill trickles. What sound might that make? These little trickles gather into babbling brooks and streams. The streams continue on their downward course, eventually joining into rushing rivers. As the quick rivers join into great rivers, they become broader and slower. And eventually, all water returns to the sea. Just like the water returning to the sea, each of you has returned here to the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale, and will mingle the waters from your journeys, creating a common pool of members and friends. Let us join in a moment of silence. I was hoping maybe it would be raining right when I said that. It's probably not even raining anymore. So we're on to our story for today. And our story today is fittingly about a drop of water. One lonely drop. But this was no ordinary drop of water. This drop was named Higgins, and he had a dream. Higgins knew that the valley around him had not had rain in a very long time. So all the lovely green grass was turning brown. All the beautiful flowers were wilting, and all the trees were starting to droop. That's kind of what it looked like yesterday, I gotta say. Now, Higgins had a dream. His dream is that one day the valley would be a beautiful place again. But what could he do? After all, he was only one drop of water.
So, one day Higgins decided to travel and tell others about his dream. All the other drops listened very politely, but no one believed that his dream would come true. Higgins decided that he had to do something to make his dream come true. So he began to think and think and think, as drops of water do. One day, he was walking by a rusty old bucket. He got an idea.
If enough of us drops got together in this bucket, there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers to help them grow and be beautiful again.
Eagerly, Higgins told everyone his great idea, but everyone thought he was being foolish. "Get your head out of the clouds, Higgins," they told him. "You can't spend your whole life dreaming." Well, Higgins decided he had to do something to convince the others that he was right. So he said to them,
I don't know about you, but I'm getting in that bucket. I hope some of you will join me. Then there just might be enough water to help at least some flowers grow again.
So Higgins ran as hard as he could, hopped way up in the air, and landed with a kerplunk into the bottom of the bucket. And there he sat, just a drop in a bucket. For a long time, Higgins was very lonely. It seemed like no one else was going to join him. But after a while, some of the other drops could see that the grass was dying and the flowers were wilting and the trees were drooping. They all agreed that something must be done.
Suddenly, one drop shouted, I'm going in the bucket with Higgins! And he leaped through the air and landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then two other drops yelled, Wait for us! And they hopped through the air and landed in the bucket too. And then 10 drops jumped through the air into the bucket, then 30, then 50, and then hundreds and hundreds of drops came from all around just to hop in the bucket. Soon, the bucket was completely full of water.
Well, along came a powerful breeze that blew the bucket over, and everywhere the water flowed. The grass turned green again, and the flowers bloomed, and the trees stood tall and straight once more.
All this happened because Higgins had a dream, and his dream came true. Because he knew that although he was just a drop in the bucket, enough drops in a bucket make a bucket full, and where there are enough buckets with the wind behind them, anything is possible. Thank you. So I know I've told this story of Higgins before, the drop with a dream, but I wanted to bring it back because I think it illustrates what we need to do this year. Our church is in a position we haven't been in. I was going to write ever, but I can't remember that far back, but it's been a long time that we've been without a minister. And we could see this as a dry time. We could feel a little brown and crunchy. And we might even be worrying that our little church is drying up. But it's not. We have this fantastically large bucket, and we're going to fill it. We are going to fill it. Each one of us is going to be a drop in the bucket. If we jump into church and fill it with enthusiasm and commitment and joy and hard work and faith and love and hope, together we can spill out into the community and the world and bring back UCH to life. Now you ask, what can I do to fill the bucket? Well, you could commit to your hospitality team. You could help with a fundraiser. You could come to the events we throw. Join a committee. Pay your pledge each month. Teach an RE. By the way, I'm looking for teachers if anybody's interested. You could become a worship associate like Susan and many others. You could volunteer to host a guest minister in your home. If you see something that needs organizing it, or if you see something that needs organizing, organize it. If you haven't seen someone for a while at church, you could reach out and say hello. You could change a burned out light bulb. There are millions and millions of other things that could be done here at church if you're looking out for them. So, what will you do to join in? You can be like Higgins' friends and yell out, "I'm going in the bucket with my church family." We have the power to keep our small but mighty congregation green and healthy and strong because we're going to water it. All of us, little drops in the bucket. Amen. So now is the time where we're going to invite you up to bring your water to add to our common bowl. If you would like virtual water, there are some little cups in the back. Maybe somebody in the back could run around with those. That'd be great. And I invite you in a few words or a short phrase to add your water to our container and your voice to our community. Share what meaning your water has to you, where it came from, what it represents, and how this water symbolizes the good you can add to our community. So, Susan, do you want to go first? Sure. And then, how about you come up this side and go back that side?
Is this on? Oh, yeah. No. All right. So my water is unofficially from the Mississippi River, which is where my hometown is on the Mississippi River, and I spent a lot of time there this summer. and including at the Unitarian Church there. It also represents water from Door County, Wisconsin, which is our favorite place to go in the summer.
My water is also virtual water. It's from the kitchen sink of Emma's new apartment in Laramie, Wyoming, where I spent quite a bit of time and all of my money. But it also reminds me that there's so many of our young people here from this church out on grand adventures, and there are also some that are here with us. So my takeaway from that is that I'm going to try to stay connected and help the church stay connected with those young people that are far away but not really in their hearts.
Who'd ever like to come up and share their water, come on up.
This is a blessing from Mother Nature. It was collected this morning, so it's quite fresh. Although there may be some micro beads of plastic in it and some chemicals that never degrade.
That holds about a pint of water has been in many different places. It's been in Canyonlands, it's been in the Grand Canyon, it's gone all the way to the bottom and back, and means a lot to me.
This water's from my new kitchen sink. I moved in a house in July, and hopefully we'll be there for a few years.
I have virtual water. My daughter and I were in Toronto 5 years ago this week. She was training for the Chicago Marathon and asked me to come along. So I was riding my bike alongside her while she was running. And I made her go into whatever lake is at Toronto and get me some water. And I put it in a container, and guess what? It spilled out in the car on the way home. So every year I've been wanting to do this. Well, finally I'm getting around to it this year. So this commemorates that great trip with my daughter.
This is virtual water. This would symbolize that the water we need to grow our food so we can survive.
I take you into the future. This is virtual water from Whidbey Island in the Puget Sound, where I will be in a couple of weeks. And I don't take many vacations, so this is special.
My water's from my pet bowl. So that's Irving, Arnold, and Tia that are Chihuahuas, and Kylo and Ren, which are cats.
It's a secret.
My water is virtual water from the Atlantic Ocean. I even put salt in it to represent the ocean. I got to swim in the Atlantic Ocean this summer, and it's very joyful. So I guess the takeaway is to do things that bring you joy, and hopefully to others too.
I have virtual water from Puget Sound because I was just there this summer, but I didn't quite get close enough to actually get water. I was we stayed right on the coast, and it was wonderful. So I know Nancy's going to look forward to that too.
My water is from, like Joe's, is from Mother Nature. This is from my rain gauge. I went out this morning and I had 2 inches. And to me, this is restorative and it's hopeful. We've had a hot, dry summer just this side of a drought, and now we've got rain that will restore our lawns, our gardens, all of that.
This is virtual water because, I don't know, we had a lot going on this morning, from our garden at our house, which kind of without much intervention has become this kind of wild thing that grows tomatoes, little currant tomatoes, and really, really hot peppers that nobody can eat. So if anybody likes really hot peppers, let us know.
Well, this is not virtual water. I collected this from the rain sprout. With the rain is from our roof here.
This water is from Bullfrog Lake, which isn't a forest preserve, just 10 miles from here. And we've taken to camping quite a bit this year. And I guess it just goes to show that there's a lot of beauty and adventure very close to you.
I brought water back from Lake Michigan, half of which is now sitting on the counter at home, so thus virtual water. Fortunately, the other half will be contributed to Second Unitarian because Shelby took it down there for her new church.
This is virtual water from my old church in New Jersey to represent the new church in Chicago.
So this water represents some fun times I had this summer at a couple of auction gatherings. So Mary and Hannah Wilson's lovely gathering, Steve and Athena. So here's my, it's virtual, but.
This is virtual water from the hose by my garden plot at Park Place, where I go every day. And that keeps me in touch with the natural world.
Good morning. You know, from time to time, there are some seriously visionary things that happen in our country. And in the 19th century, people realized that if they dug a canal from Albany to Buffalo, that they could connect the Great Lakes down to the Atlantic Ocean in New York City. And this summer I was privileged to go to a little town not too far from Niagara Falls. It's called Lockport, New York. And it's really, the locks are really spectacular. When the boats come in, they actually drop about 30 feet down, which is just, seems like an engineering masterpiece to me for something that happened in around 1820. So this water is from the locks of Lockport.
This virtual water is from the 55th Street Pond in Downers Grove, a pond that Norma and I like to walk regularly. In fact, we were just there yesterday, where we meet people that we've never met before, and we see things, nature, ducks, geese, all of it.
Hi, this is virtual water from the places where my children and grandchildren live. San Francisco Bay, where my daughter and her kids are. The Potomac River, where my son and his kids are. And the Piscataqua River and the Atlantic Ocean in New Hampshire, where my son and step-grandkids are. So.
May our separate waters, unique and special like each of us, join together to make a mighty river of commitment to one another and to this church community. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing hymn 100, I've Got Peace Like a River.
What do you think, Dan? 3 verses or 4?
I think 3's okay.
3's okay.
I've got peace like a river. It's now time to take the collection for the financial support of our church. As the ushers prepare to take this morning's offering, may each of us look into not just our wallets and our checkbooks to see how much we have, but let us look into our hearts and see how much is available there. How much love, how much generosity, how much hope, and let us take our offering from that account. We encourage you to drop your pledge payments in the basket. Oh, wait, but not yet. Oh, okay. Please designate it as such by writing pledge on the memo line, because today is our special collection Sunday. Any cash and checks written out directly to Austin's Scholarship Award Program will be donated to that. And I now invite our visitors from Third Church up to share with us about that.
Good morning, everyone. I am Charlie Gunn, and Roberta Wilson is making her way up, and my wife Lynn. We are from Third Unitarian, your sibling congregation. We're just over the Chicago border from Oak Park, and we are here today to tell you about the Austin Scholars Award Program. And hopefully that rings a bell, that you've heard about it. I think there was a blurb in a recent newsletter that talked about us. And so we also thank the Hulberts, Jim and Jane, for their support. They've visited our church and also participated in our awards ceremony. I am a co-chair along with Roberta. And I've been a Chicago public school teacher now for 33 years, elementary school level, and Roberta, who will get to say hi in a moment, but I just want to build her up. She was a paraprofessional in Chicago public schools for 33 years, so we have that in common, Roberta. 33 years. But Roberta's a little humble, so I'm going to just say just a couple more. She's like a living legend at our church. She's 95 years young. She has been with the program since it started in '74. And so if you do the math, next year we're going to have our 50th ceremony. And she's been with it since day one as a founder. She's still active with her Black Club and the CAPS, which is the community policing. She's active with the aldermen, and whether they like it or not, all the way up through the federal legislators. And she's been the Chicago Hall of Fame for seniors and the Illinois equivalent. So she's just a go-getter, and she inspires all of us at Third to do our very best. And so I'd like her, to, of course, to have a moment to say hello and greet you.
I just want to say thank you all for inviting us to come here. Just because I'm 95 years old, that don't mean I have to stop, you know. And I want you to know that I want to continue the scholarship. Don Wheat said, Reverend Don Wheat said in 1974, he said the best thing that Third Church could give scholarships to students at Austin High School. And ever since that day, him and Dr. King has really motivated me to move on. As Mahalia Jackson always said, moving on up a little higher. And believe me, I am moving on up. And I want to say to you, let's continue to help these young people because they need our help more now than ever. So I want to say, Third Church, you got me, and I want to thank you.
So I don't want to take too much of your time. We love your service, by the way. What a great program with the water, wow, especially on a day like today. So we do have brochures, so if you want to read up on some of our details, but some of the highlights are, of course, as part of social justice, we're trying to focus on our community, which is Austin. And Roberta lives there, Lynn and I live in the UIC neighborhood. And so, but we're trying to focus on education, of course. And I grew up in the north suburbs. I went to New Trier. I mean, high school was a norm. Excuse me, college was a norm. And then Lynn grew up right around here in Clarendon Hills, went to Hinsdale Central, and her mom, Mary Arnold, was the clerk in Clarendon Hills for 25 years. Maybe you know the Arnold name. But it was a norm, of course, at Hinsdale Central to go to college. And we're trying to help with that in Austin. Of course, just like you're all on committees. This is one of our big committees. Of course, we volunteer, you give your gifts in kind, and then you give your gifts as well. So the nice thing about our program is that every single penny we transfer right over to the kids. I call them kids, the scholars, the students going into, the seniors, the CPS seniors going into college. Every penny, and we try not only to give them the financial support, but maybe more important is that encouragement and to be there for them. And when they send us, communications, or we can have them in the back if people want. But if anybody wants a brochure, we can give them, or we can just put them in the back. So, but yeah, just that encouragement. That's what we try to do with the money. We have expanded now from the 2 semesters freshman year to the 3 semesters, because we really want to carry over to that next year, because you can go online. There's a lot of statistics about trying to keep the kids in school past that freshman year, especially if it wasn't the norm in their family, and if they didn't have anybody else in their home that can help them navigate that environment. So again, the brochure can tell you the more information about the program. But if you have any questions, I guess, I don't know if you want to do that. But again, we're a sibling congregation. This is one of our big committees, along with our food pantry and our community garden. And so we thank you for thinking of social justice. And I saw some pictures on your website, about some of your banners that proclaim that to the community, trying to do our share and trying to do our part to make this world, just for all people. So again, thank you for having us. And do you want to say anything more, Roberta? Because she always has something to say if you get her going.
I just want to say thank you, and feel free. The last word I usually say is scholarship. That means whatever money you have up under the bed and in the closet and in the corner, you can always say check to TUC scholarship. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
And of course, we'll be here after church until you send us away. We'll be here. So if you have any questions or anything, we'll just do it then. Thank you for your time, and thank you for welcoming us to your wonderful church.
We will keep open the donation period for the Austin Scholarship Award Program through the end of the month. So if you want to send in your check or bring it next week, we'll keep that open. And Jonathan, do you have offertory music, or you already played it? Sure. Did you already play your offering music?
I already did.
Okay. Good, great, thank you. May we be committed to using these gifts to increase love, expand beloved community, and continue to make a difference in this world.
As we extinguish the chalice, remember that the peace of flowing water is with you. The beauty of starry skies is with you. the warmth of companionship is with you, and that the miracle and mystery of this world blesses you each day. And now I'd like to share a little bit about our church life, some announcements and that sort of thing. From another perspective, welcome back to another church year. We've had a wonderful sort of casual summer of gatherings on the green, but it's nice to be back in the sanctuary, isn't it? We are often running with many things to become involved in. I'll mention only a few of these things here today, but you can get a full account of all the upcoming meetings and programs by reading your weekly news and notes. Tomorrow, Monday, is the Buddhist meditation at 7 o'clock. On Tuesday this week, there is the Wise Elders meeting at 3 o'clock. Next Sunday, both Animal Ministry meeting and the men's group are meeting. So if you are interested in any of these, any of our committees, groups, or programs, and you are not sure how to get involved, please contact the Superwoman, Pam Fodor. And we will be joining downstairs after church today, but I did want to also announce, I'm sure you've seen it in news and notes, that next Saturday at 11 o'clock, we will be gathering to memorialize beloved church member Joanne Crower here in the sanctuary. So if you're around, we'd of course love to have you be part of that celebration of life. So please join us right after the service for fun, food, and fellowship. Not outside on the lawn, it'd be a little damp, downstairs, and I came in and miraculously all these tables were set up beautifully. So please come down and join us for that. Thank you.
I will send you on your way with these benediction words. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling towards its destination, and finally, the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it in a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. Amen and blessed be.